Hey, I'm Josh Roberts. I want to talk to you today about moral injury and the straitjackets of authority. Some wounds are not just physical, they're psychological and spiritual. Trauma and moral injury can come from betrayal, especially when that betrayal comes from the very institutions and authorities we're taught to trust. The inclusion of moral injury in the new DSM is more than a diagnostic update. It's an expansion of awareness that can lead to a paradigm shift. Most people who interact with the mental health system during a spiritual awakening are impacted by some form of moral injury. When our minds expand beyond the boundaries push back, sometimes violently, often in the form of 3 different straitjackets implemented by 3 different trusted authorities: legal, medical, and spiritual authorities, all sending the message, "You're too much," or "You're not enough." It's not the people of these institutions, but the worldview behind them. So let's look at that. I know this because it happened to me. At age 32, while getting my master's degree at seminary, I had a spiritual epiphany that spiraled into a manic episode. When I tried to express it, the straitjackets started being strapped onto me with buckles that not only injured me, but squashed out my life and my vitality. Firstly, the legal authorities struck with slapping me with a logistical straitjacket. I was arrested because law enforcement assumed that I was on LSD, which I wasn't. I was in awe. That arrest and jail time cost me my job, which cost me my house, which cost me and my family a decade of financial struggle. It was implied that the only safe place for me was behind bars. Isolation. The medical authorities were next. They took away my vitality with identity-based and biochemical straitjackets. My encounter with God was quickly rebranded as a symptom. I was labeled bipolar type 1 and told I was mentally ill, sick in the head, and that I should lower my expectations in life. This became a self-fulfilling prophecy as my morale whimpered into non-existence, snuffed out. I was instead told to make friends with my biochemical straitjacket, and was not so subtly forced to take medication in order to get out of the hospital. Though medication helped at times, it also replaced my sense of wonder with compliance and dullness. Finally, the spiritual authority stepped up to the plate to whack me with a heretical straitjacket. God doesn't speak to people like that, they said. But they don't do sermons on how the prophet Isaiah walked around barefoot and naked for 3 years. Nor about how Ezekiel shaved his beard, set it on fire, scattered it around the city, and stabbed it with a sword. My morals, which included belief in countercultural freedom of expression when God reaches out to me, were dismissed not just as a theological difference, but as a threat to safety. I was smeared with shame. Why is behavior that is odd or eccentric included in the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, as a diagnostic criteria anyway? According to which time period and culture's view on what constitutes odd? It wasn't just that my experience was being invalidated, it was the dismantling of my cosmology and my identity, who I discovered myself to be. There's fresh hope now. Yeah, the wound might be where the light gets in, and cracked pottery is made more beautiful with the golden repairs of kintsugi, but an awareness of moral injury can initiate a paradigm shift for those in authority that changes their worldview. This will empower them to hold back on the cracking down, and to rather be the bearers of existential gold, of light that lifts our burdens instead of making them heavier.